This is the Hyundai Creta and this is the Hyundai Creta Pro Max, the 3-row version of the Creta, the 6 or 7-seater version of the Creta, and both these cars have the same engine, chassis, suspension and a lot of features as well. However, there are certain differences between both these cars because Hyundai charges you around rupees 1.5 lakhs more for the Alcazar when compared to the Creta. Now this car is actually longer by 230 mm. Meanwhile, the wheelbase is also longer by 150 mm because it obviously has to accommodate an extra row of seats. So the length has increased, I think, by around 60 mm. The length increased by around 30 mm for the facelifted version of the Creta. Now, the front end design is quite different between both the cars. Firstly, the Alcazar gets new headlights, new grille, new bumpers. However, fog lamps have actually been removed. The logo is smaller here. The logo is quite big right there. So, certain changes in terms of the design element between both the cars. You get a rain sensor here, no rain sensor right there. You get 18-inch wheels, you get 17-inch wheels right there. However, there is a big difference between both the cars as far as the diesel variants go because Hyundai has actually removed the sunroof as well as the tire repair kit from the Alcazar diesel. Some things which are actually available with the Creta diesel, and I'll tell you the reason why they have done it. It's actually quite bizarre. Alloy wheel design kind of looks similar between both the cars. When you come to the rear, you again realize that the lights are very different here between both the cars because obviously you get the sort of edge signature here with the Alcazar. Meanwhile, not so much with the Creta, and the bumper is also different. However, I love this element. This metallic silver element here is quite nice, and the Hyundai logo, well, the position is a little different between both the cars. But what I love about the Alcazar is that you get dual exhaust here. No exhaust here, actually the exhaust is hidden somewhere right there. Can you see it? Okay, there it is. Yeah, hidden exhaust pipe. I don't know why Hyundai does that. But anyways, the reverse light is the same between both the cars, and if you notice the roof rails, this is not functional. This is very much functional. It can take up to 120 kgs of weight, which is actually quite a lot. Now, in terms of the variant naming, it says SX here and signature right there. So that is another difference between both the cars. But the Creta seems to be more value for money because obviously with the Creta, you get a sunroof for the diesel variant. Coming to the side of the car, well, the length is more than 4.5 meters. The wheelbase is also quite long here, and the design doesn't look that conducive from the side. So it's not very appealing from here. You get this car in 9 color options. There's one dual tone color, which is white with a black roof. Meanwhile, you also get 2 matte color options, which is actually nice. It says DCT right there. Alloy wheel design looks nice. However, tires are kind of crap because they are from JK, and JK makes the worst tires ever. 215 55 18 is the size of the tires. Here you actually get a gloss finish. Meanwhile, in the Creta, there is no gloss finish or painting on the side cladding, and obviously it projects something from here. That's also a cool thing. The rain sensor is right there. Let's actually get inside and let me open the hood of the vehicle. Before that, let me show you this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses. This is the Involve Gel Can Citron. It is an amazing blend of lemon, lime and orange perfumes. It has dry fresh technology. It's super easy to regulate. You can just regulate it like this and it does not leak at all. Yeah, it brings instant freshness in the car. It's a very unique fragrance. I really love it, and you can get yours with a 10% discount using coupon code FASTBEAM. Click on the top right corner of the screen right away. Now, in terms of the design, well, it looks way better when compared to before. You get the H shape here for the Hyundai logo. For the DRL, the connected light here, smaller logo, front parking camera, radar is there. For ADAS, obviously, that is the towing hook. Meanwhile, this is the low beam, this is the high beam. You get 4 parking sensors. Again, the position of the parking sensors is quite different when compared to the Creta. Straight away, let's open the engine bay. This is actually the turbo petrol engine known as Turbo Smart Stream. Engine bay seems quite empty. Earlier, they used to have a 2-liter engine in this car, NA. That is where the insulation has been done. There is the washer fluid, and I can feel that they have actually added some weight to this car, which is actually a good thing because if this car fares better in terms of safety, competition will become stronger because all of its rivals perform exceptionally well when it comes to safety. However, the key is the same as before, same old key. This is to turn on the car remotely. You can also do it the digital key. You can share it with up to 3 people. It has NFC and all those things. So yeah, that's a cool thing. This is to open the boot of the vehicle. This is to unlock the car. This is to lock the car. But yeah, I'm bored of this key. Come on, Hyundai, give us a different key now. Here you actually get a camera because obviously it gets a 360-degree parking camera. In terms of features, now Hyundai has really loaded it up other than the diesel, which I'm a bit disappointed with. I don't know why Hyundai does that. But let's quickly open the boot of the vehicle because this is actually quite a practical car. I think this is like 180 liters, which is decent with all the rows up. To put the seats down, all I have to do is pull it like this and push it down. And now I have a massive boot. This is the warning triangle. What is there here? That is the jack. Where is Rose? I don't know. I think that is the amplifier probably. Light here hooks here, AC controls in the last row. Now the fan controls are here. Let me remove this. Meanwhile, you have a USB-C charging socket, another USB-C charging socket. This is, I think, the subwoofer of the vehicle. Meanwhile, the spare wheel is right there. Spare wheel is not there in the diesel. It only gets a tire repair kit, tire mobility kit. It's not an alloy. It is not full size either. But look at that. That is spacious. Let's bring this back up. AC vent here, AC vent there as well, and you've got lights on the top. It says top heater because obviously it gets isofix child seat mount. It's a very practical car. It's available both in 6 and 7 seater variant, but there is no power tailgate, which is surprising. There is the camera, reverse parking camera. It says turbo here, and I like this reflector treatment as well. This green color actually nice looking, and there you obviously get a antenna, a shark fin antenna. Now let's get into the rear. Firstly, internally they call it GLS. Meanwhile, Kia should call their variant as X7. They don't have an equivalent for the Alcazar yet. Let's put this sunblind up. Practical, huh? Door pockets are also big enough. Bose sound system, 8 speaker system. You get ventilated seats at the rear, which is amazing only for the 6 seater version. 7 seater version does not get it. This is all the way ahead. This is all the way reclined as well. It gets this nice wing treatment for the headrest, which is nice and comfortable. And I'm just going to push the seat behind. Meanwhile, I'm going to extend the under thigh support. So that's again a very unique feature. Tan color, which is amazing. And let me actually push this ahead. So this is sort of upright. How do I get into the last row? Well, okay, that's the maximum it goes. Yeah, it does not go any further, which means to go to the rear, I have to go from the inside, which is not the most convenient thing to do. So that's the reason I'm going to remove this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses and put it right here in the center so that the cabin smells super fresh. Obviously, they have made changes to the dashboard very similar to the Creta. Getting to the rear means climbing from the center where my leg is stuck right now. And here we are in the last row. Some storage space here. Space is not the best. Yeah, look at this. For someone as tall as me, it's not great. In fact, under thigh support is quite poor. Headroom seems decent. So this is a makeshift 7-seater. You can just call it a 5+2. It's not a 7-seater as such. It's a 5+2 only. This seat should have tumbled. It does not tumble because they've actually removed the center console from here, which was there earlier, which had cup holders, which had a wireless charging pad. They've removed it. So certain changes have been done. But the 7-seater version will be better because the seat will tumble. Otherwise, how will you come into the last row and punish yourself? Because there is not much space here. Let's get out. And that's one of the reasons why now this car doesn't really sell as much as the Creta. The Creta sells 8 times as much. But the good thing is I can actually move the seat ahead. It has got a boss mode right here, which means that the co-passenger seat can be pushed all the way ahead to increase the space here. Space wise in the center, it's actually quite impressive. Yeah, there's good amount of space. Height adjustable seat belts. It has got 6 airbags, a handle to hold on to, a light placement here on the top, AC vents, and it also gets adjustable armrests at the rear. This wireless charging pad does not work only because it's not long enough to accommodate bigger phones like the iPhone Pro Maxes. Yeah, it's kind of small. So yeah, this wireless charger is not working is something I noticed. Earlier it was there in the center console. This light blinks once the charging starts. 2 USB-C charging sockets, slight hump here. But the seats are comfortable and this is very unique when you can increase under thigh support. I don't know how this thing came off. Let me just push it out. By the way, Hyundai has also removed the side footsteps, which was actually very useful when getting in and out of the vehicle. That is also removed quietly. And the rear wiper washers actually work quite nice. These trays can take up to 3.5 kgs of weight. In fact, it says 3.5 kgs maximum. Here you can put a tablet, just push it to close it. Cup holders are there on both the sides, which is actually a very neat feature to have. However, for this particular section now, they should have actually given the one in the Verna wherein you could switch between controls. Now, the Creta obviously has physical buttons. Here you've got haptic feedback. And in order to turn on the rear AC, you have to actually click on this button right there. Good space. Under thigh support is good. Finally, I have said under thigh support is good in a car. Yes, Hyundai has done a great job there. You get this nice treatment here with stitching and push this right ahead as well. So that is a sliding mechanism. And let's get out and get to the front. So definitely in terms of features, Hyundai has not cut corners. They've added a lot more features, but there is no request sensor on the left side. Kind of unfortunate. And they've also added hill descent control. So again, that feature is probably not there in the Creta, because when compared to the Creta, obviously they've tried to justify the additional price they asked for this car. It gets powered seat, 8-way powered. In fact, the co-driver also gets a powered seat now. Earlier there was no powered seat. They had to do it powered if they had to use the boss mode, so it had to have the powery thing. Meanwhile, there's a dead pedal there, a lot of controls, engine start button. This is for the stop start system, traction control, parking sensors, and headlight leveler. There's a magnet here, so you can stick whatever you want. Again, big enough door pockets at the front. Everything gets illumination here, which is quite premium. and you have got memory seats now, which the Creta obviously does not get. In terms of the interior, well, very similar to the Creta. The 10.25-inch screen was there earlier as well. The blind view monitor was there earlier as well in the Alcazar, but that was not there in the Creta. So yeah, Hyundai has been offering more features in the Alcazar when compared to the Creta since quite some time now. Let's shut the door. Now, there is some storage space here. Glove box is decent size, and you also get a cooling function right here. Again, when compared to the Creta, the switches are a bit different. In the Creta, it's like this. So you get ventilated front seats. This is for the hill descent. This is for the camera. This is for auto hold. This is for the electric parking brake. You get drive and traction modes. You get a wireless charging pad. Only one USB-C charging socket, a 12-volt socket, a USB-A. So a lot of charging options here. Storage space here, twin cup holders, and you have got storage space in the armrest right below it. I mean, here it also has a manual. Service booklet is approximately, I don't know how many pages it is, but there are instructions how to use the dual clutch transmission so that when it hits, the blame is on you. And this first aid kit is very cheap. Expected better at this price. That is the blind view monitor. So this is a dual 10.25-inch screens, very high quality as well. They look awesome. So again, the design has changed when compared to the older version of the Alcazar. Auto dimming mirror, 70 connected car features. There's a sunglass holder right here, light placement here on the top. You get a mirror, no light. You don't get a mirror or light here either, which is quite surprising. This does extend though, but a mirror and light would have been a nice touch. Steering wheel is nice to hold. It gets a flat bottom treatment, a lot of gloss finishing here, and then this is the button to browse through the cluster. So you have a compass, even though this is not from Jeep, a tire pressure monitor. This is obviously for the ADAS function, and vehicle information, digital speedometer, trip meter, and all those things are obviously given. Something which is similar to a lot of Hyundai cars. So there's nothing new as such here which is going to wow you over. It's very similar. And then depending on the drive mode, you can also change the cluster modes like that, which is quite cool, which was also there in the older Alcazar. So nothing new on this front. They should have given a heads-up display because the Seltos gets a heads-up display. At least the Alcazar should have. Get paddle shifters, automatic headlights, automatic wipers as well. These are the controls for the audio system. Let's quickly use the wipers. Okay, there is quite a lot of spray here, which cleans the windscreen in no time at all. This panel is also slightly different when compared to the Creta. So dual zone climate control, air conditioning system, and you've got physical buttons for the audio system, which is actually a good thing. Air conditioning is actually a chiller. It does a great job, so I'm not going to complain on that front. Yeah, Hyundai does good air conditioning. Just shut this right away. Band ho ja bhai, band ho ja. Now let's get into the screen. It's very slick to operate, but there is no wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto connectivity, which will only happen when they get the next generation of the infotainment system, which I've already experienced with the Tucson facelift, which gets an all new interior. So I'm waiting for that. See, phone projection is saying connected to the wire. That's really crazy. It gets Jio Savan with 1 year complimentary subscription. After that, obviously, you need to pay for it. There's a valet mode, there's a quiet mode, there's navigation. All those things, like including the map and all, they're very similar to other Hyundai cars. So nothing new on this front, but this infotainment system is actually quite good. Very slick to use. There's Blue Link, and let's get into reverse. So this is the reverse parking camera of this car. You get a 360-degree parking camera. In fact, let me press this to show you a bird's eye view. It's quite amazing. Only thing is that the color of the car and the color of the car here, they don't match. This car does not have a sunroof. Sort of looks like a Land Cruiser in these images. I don't know why. There are multiple views here for the camera system as well. Let's get out of this camera. There's a speaker placement here as well. So yeah, great in terms of quality, but there's some hard plastic lower down. Steering is adjustable both for reach as well as rake. This is for the fuse box. The 1 second, I'll just show it to you right away. Yeah, the fuse box is right here. And I love the fact that the cluster actually gives me a lot of information. Once let's shut this. Like it was telling me that the door is open and the car is on. So yeah, all the information comes here, which is quite cool, but does not show me that the sunroof is open. I mean, it's not open right now, so it's not telling me obviously. Now this is one of the USPs of this car. Actually, everyone is offering a panoramic sunroof, so it's no longer a USP. It's become a necessity, and it opens quite a lot, brings in a lot of airy feeling as well. That is awesome. Yeah, and then because there's only one switch, I didn't want to close the sunblind, but the sunblind is also opening. Mat band ho, okay. So it's a bit confusing. Multiple buttons here would be awesome, honestly. Yeah, a lot of brands are just putting everything in one switch to reduce the number of switches, thereby trying to reduce the cost. Probably get this silver treatment here, and obviously the interior color is different when compared to the Creta, but the dashboard design and all is very similar. What are you doing, mosquito? Let me catch you. Catch me if you can. Anyways, let's start driving right away. Okay, the seat actually moves behind as soon as I open the door, and all these animations also come. And as soon as I turn on the car, the seat actually moves ahead. So that's actually quite funky. Does a full swipe up. Audio quality is actually quite decent. Yeah, the Bose sound system is actually quite good. Hazard lights are on right now, but does not have the dynamic swipe function when the hazards are on. But if you turn on one single indicator, then it does the dynamic swipe function. Anyway, straight away we come into drive. I'm going to change the drive mode. We are going to come into sport. Air conditioning off. It has this haptic touch feel to it. And straight away I'm actually going to turn on the driver rear view monitor right here, which I think will automatically turn off after a certain speed, but we will see. Traction control also needs to be turned off. I'm going to keep this button pressed. Yeah, traction control and ESC disabled. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off. Revving the motor, revs just to 1500 RPM and off we go. So that's the problem of a DCT box. It simply does not rev only. That's a bit of a hiccup. There I have turned on the driver rear view monitor. Performance is actually decent. There's some amount of turbo lag, but then the mid-range is actually quite strong, and this is a very likable engine. This is a 1.5 liter turbo GDI motor, direct injection, and it is obviously turbocharged, which means that it has good amount of performance, because the earlier Alcazar, not the one which went out, the initially launched one, had a 2 liter NA petrol engine, which was not that great, because with a turbo you have that mid-range punch, which was obviously missing there. Over bad roads and all, ride is actually very impressive here because the suspension is on the softer side. But when compared to the Creta, the sidewall is smaller because we have bigger 18-inch wheels. Meanwhile, the Creta has 17-inch wheels, so that does make a small difference here. Now around the corners, I feel that there is some amount of roll. The car's steering doesn't really give you an engaging feel at all. Feels lackluster, doesn't give much confidence as such. I mean, it's not hairy, but it's not confidence inspiring in the sense that it's not engaging at all. Trust me, it's not engaging. It kind of feels a little soggy. So Creta definitely feels better to drive because of the added weight of this car. Obviously, it dulls down the handling capability of the vehicle, and the engine becomes quite vocal in the mid-range. But lower down the rev range, the engine is actually very smooth, very refined. At idle, you can barely hear the engine. So this 1.5 liter engine makes 160 PS of power and 253 Newton meters of torque. The result is it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 9.5 seconds, and the top speed should be around 180 kilometers per hour. 9.5 seconds is 3 seconds faster than the diesel. The diesel makes just 116 PS of power, the 1.5 liter U2 diesel engine with 250 Newton meters of torque. That's very less power for the price and the size, but this car is sort of the shortest in terms of length in the segment. However, it has the longest wheelbase, which means Hyundai has done a great job in terms of the packaging for sure. Yeah, the steering feels quite numb, especially in the center position, and obviously over big bumps it thuds through. The suspension noise comes inside, but overall it's a very refined drive. Now the diesel takes 12.5 seconds to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, which is quite slow. Yeah, it's quite slow, but then it's decent considering it's a very chintu-mintu diesel engine. Mahindra is offering 175 horsepower with its diesel engine with 2 liter capacity. Hyundai is like, we will just give you 115 PS of power, 116 PS of power, which is like 60 horsepower more in the Mahindra cars. But then this is around 300-400 kgs lighter as well, which obviously makes a big difference here. That's the reason why even with less power output, the car is decent in terms of performance. Doesn't feel lackluster because of the lightweight, obviously. But still, it is not ekdam lightweight also, because you can definitely feel some amount of weight around the corners in this car. Talking about fuel efficiency, this one is claimed at 18 kilometers per liter for the DCT. Meanwhile, the 6-speed manual, this is a 7-speed DCT by the way, not the quickest with shifts. At low speeds, it's not very smooth. It's kind of confused as well. But then the shifts are actually fast. You've got paddle shifters as well to take manual control of the things, and then you can move the gear lever like this to get into manual mode too. So that's a good thing. The car has done just 43 kilometers right now. I got it at barely 30 kilometers, which means that I'm running it in. Come on, let's go. Yeah, so in terms of the efficiency, the 6-speed manual is having a claimed mileage of 17.5 kilometers per liter. So in terms of the petrol, the DCT is more efficient. In terms of the diesel, the manual is more efficient. Meanwhile, the automatic, which is a 6-speed torque converter, that returns a claimed mileage of 18.1 kilometers per liter, which means between both the automatics, the petrol and diesel, the diesel is efficient by just 0.1 kilometers per liter on paper. But in the real world, the diesel is a lot more efficient because the diesel will never return you single-digit numbers. This definitely will return you single-digit numbers because with turbocharged petrol engines, the more you rev it, the more it rewards you, and with the reward also, it also rewards your wallet, or the opposite of reward for your wallet. That is a Contessa. I think some photo shoot is happening right now. Looks quite cool. So this is obviously rented. If I am in an Alcazar, I don't have the right to blow the horn. if I'm in a Creta, I can always do this. Creta drivers are very, very, very horny. Jokes aside, that was actually not a joke. How is the diesel automatic just 0.1 kilometers per liter more efficient when compared to this particular car which I'm driving, the petrol DCT? Makes no sense. But the torque converter obviously saps a lot more efficiency, and the diesel manual is the most efficient with a claimed mileage of 20.4 kilometers per liter, which actually brings me to the story which I was telling you earlier on. Why have they removed the sunroof from the diesel version of the Alcazar as well as the spare wheel? Because they wanted to reduce the weight of the car. In order to improve the safety, Hyundai decided we need to add more high-strength steel, which increased the weight of the vehicle. Because of the added weight, the efficiency went down. And then they realized that we need to have a claimed mileage of more than 20 kilometers per liter anyhow. And that's the reason they actually went ahead and removed the sunroof from the Alcazar and also the spare wheel. That is actually the official reason. I don't want to splash water on anybody. Just turn on the hazard so this guy can cross aram se. Yeah, so the thing is, that is the official reason. The unofficial reason, or the reason which I think is, firstly, by removing the spare wheel, they're going to save on cost. Secondly, by removing the sunroof also, they're going to obviously save on cost. So we're just going to launch it here immediately. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and off we go. Some amount of wheel spin, but with the DCT box, it does not let you launch only, so there's no wheel spin as such. Otherwise, with the manual now, you can go absolutely bonkers spinning the wheel. So like I was telling you very clearly, that the unofficial reason, the reason why I think they have actually removed these features is they don't really want to sell diesel version much, because if they sell more petrol, it will be easier for them in terms of the CAFE norms in having a average emission, because a petrol is obviously having lesser emissions when compared to a diesel. First reason could be that. The second reason, and the reason which I think is the most true in this case, is by actually not offering the sunroof, they can have a lesser price difference for the diesel. So the price difference between the top end versions of the petrol and the diesel is just 44,000. So 44,000 more for the diesel, which is not bad, right? Because it's like not dramatically much. Usually a diesel costs a lot more. So that's another reason why they have removed the panoramic sunroof. A panoramic sunroof obviously costs a lot of money. But the problem is that people who are buying this car are family guys, okay? They love Vin Diesel. People who are solo or just married, don't have kids, they can opt for the Creta. But people who are actually opting for the Alcazar, they do it for the family. Otherwise, why would you want the last row of seats? And when you have kids in the car, they definitely want a sunroof, because they want to just peep out of the top to the sky and all. And that's a big attractive point as well, right? But Mahindra doesn't believe that they should focus on efficiency, and Mahindra offers the most power and the most weight in the segment. Meanwhile, I don't know why Hyundai has this obsession of fuel efficiency. Does it really matter 1-2 kilometers per liter more? I don't think so, because Mahindra is selling a lot of cars, and Mahindra is not having any issues in selling more cars, in spite of the fact that the cars weigh a lot, have the most power in the segment, and thus the fuel efficiency also lower there. But yeah, this is a very bizarre reason to not offer a sunroof, and that brings a bigger problem here, because I would never consider a diesel Alcazar because it does not have a sunroof. It's a huge problem of not having a sunroof. In fact, India is so sunroof obsessed that Hyundai itself offers the most affordable car with a sunroof, the Exter, and yet they don't offer it with the Alcazar. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would they do that? But clearly there is more than that meets the eye. Anyways, coming to this car, it has got drive modes and traction modes. So let's quickly get into the traction modes. Snow, mud and sand, which is basically going to alter the ESP system. It's front wheel drive now, so it technically can't go off-road as such. It has better ground clearance when compared to the Creta. It is wider when compared to before. It is taller when compared to before. So a lot of these changes have been done to make it obviously better in many ways. So we're just going to stop here, and the brakes are actually decent. It obviously gets rear discs as well. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, does not rev, and off we go. This is a good chance to do the brake test. Actually quite good. The brakes are actually very good, and the hazard lights obviously turn on. Let's turn it off and off we go again. So it has got ADAS with 19 features, the same as the Creta, and now I'm seeing big puddle there, but no problem here. Yeah, it does go smoothly there. So actually I'm impressed by the ride, but not impressed by the steering wheel at all here. It has got a 50-liter fuel tank, which is decent size, same as the Creta obviously, and this car will return single-digit numbers, so around 7 to 12 kilometers per liter, depending if you're driving in the city, depending if you're driving spiritedly, or depending if you're driving out on the highway. The engine is quite nice, yeah, but the problem is, like I was telling you, I will not buy the diesel because it obviously does not get a sunroof, but I will not buy the petrol because it's not efficient. And this is one of the reasons why I feel this car really is in a confused spot. because it's a fantastic car, very feature loaded. But from a consumer perspective, no sunroof is quite shocking, and I'm telling you, Hyundai is going to go back on this and offer a sunroof for sure. This car is continuing to circle around here. Never mind, we will behave like Alcazar drivers by not behaving like Creta drivers, so we didn't honk here, which is such a good thing. And off we go. So in terms of the features of this car, Hyundai has done a great job, but they are simply wanting to push the petrol engine only, which is obvious. I mean, petrol engines have probably better margins as well, and then you're not really reliant on government's of saying ban the diesel engine. But the problem is that there is sunroof in that car, and that is also a diesel, and that's also a very heavy car, and that car has a soul of its own because it obviously is a body on frame vehicle. We're going to quickly stop here and off we go. Come on. The kind of roll in this car is quite a lot. Anyways, this car also gets 6 airbags as standard, which has obviously become the norm now. But there are 28 variants on offer. 28 variants are a lot of variants. Why does this car have so many variants? I'll tell you. First and foremost, it's available with both petrol and diesel. There's manual, there's automatic. There's 6 and 7-seater versions. And then obviously some color options as well, matte and dual tone. Because of which the variants go quite a lot. But there are technically just 4 variants here. Rather, the trims are 4 because there is the base executive, then there's the prestige, there's platinum, and the top end, which is the one I'm driving right now, is the signature obviously. Now, the price range starts at 17.7 lakhs for the base variant. I'm just going to change the drive mode right now so that you can see the cluster change as well. So there are obviously 3 drive modes here. There's Eco, which has this cluster mode. There is Normal, which has this cluster mode, and it alters the performance from the engine. It also goes ahead and alters another thing in this car, which is the steering feel. So there is more weight obviously when you come into sport mode, but I think the sport mode feels the best because it has the best map in terms of performance here, and I can feel a bit of the bumps, but yes, overall ride is better. I mean, it doesn't have the same level of third row seating space as Tata Safari. It doesn't have the ride quality of a Tata Safari. It doesn't have the driving feel of a Mahindra Scorpio N, but let's keep the Scorpio N aside for a moment. Let's compare it with the XUV700. The XUV700 somehow, I mean, not somehow, it definitely feels more powerful. 200 horsepower there. Amazing performance in the XUV700. This car is also very good in terms of performance, no doubt about that. But yeah, we all need more displacement, right? Because there is absolutely no replacement for displacement. Yeah, there is absolutely never a replacement for displacement ever. A little bit of wheel spin there. Okay, I think we should launch once again. Let's do it. Yeah, ABS is so sensitive here. One of the major reasons why brands like Mahindra, which makes amazing cars, cannot match Hyundai is the infotainment system. This is so slick. Look at the quality of this. So that's one big USP of this car. And then this split screen and all works amazingly well. Anyways, let's go sport mode. You can actually decide if you want a particular cluster mode irrespective of the drive mode, and off we go. And that's so slow to take off, taking its own sweet time. Some wheel spin here and there. Let's actually turn on the driver rear view monitor right here. Bad roads, no problem. Let's just go. Oh my god. That's how you run in a car before you guys panic. This is actually a car only for testing. It's not going to be sold to a customer, so don't panic yet. Anyways, people drive in the wrong lane at times, but that's completely cool. That's the reason sometimes you have to be ultra careful. Nothing which ADAS can also help when you come to a blind corner. So the price of the top end variant, which is actually for the diesel, is 26.14 lakhs, which is like 44,000 more, and the difference is not much because of the lack of a sunroof. First thing. Second thing, this particular car which I'm driving is priced at 25.7 lakhs. You pay 24,000 more for the 6-seater version over the 7-seater version because captain chairs, now they cost slightly more, and then obviously you also get ventilated seats in the 6-seater version. Why am I slowing down? I can just power through, which you do not get in the 7-seater version. Now this car has obviously got voice command, so voice enabled sunroof is there. This cluster has multi-language support. Let's actually change the cluster to the Eco one. Eco feels a bit sluggish, quite a bit sluggish, which actually brings me to what exactly is this car. Is this a 7-seater? Not really. Yeah, this is not really a 7-seater because it's more of a 5+2. Why is it a 5+2? Because the last row isn't that practical, and that's the reason Hyundai actually has the tagline in which the word versatile is used. This is a very versatile car. There's no denying the fact. Otherwise, if you want a 7-seater, there are better options. If you want a 5-seater, that Creta is obviously fantastic, but it's not a proper 7-seater in that regard. It is versatile. I will give Hyundai that for sure. Which actually brings me to the comparison with the Creta. The Creta sells around 16,000 units a month. This car sells under 2,000 units a month. So the Creta is the top selling car for Hyundai. This is amongst the lower selling cars for Hyundai. So why hasn't this car managed to sell much? Well, there are many reasons for it. Firstly, the car is fantastic, but the Creta is so damn good that people are like, why should we pay more for the Alcazar? Then the design is not that impressive from the side and from certain angles, which they have actually addressed with this particular update. The facelift has addressed the biggest issue with this car, which is the design. It looks so much better. The Santa Fe elements look good for sure, and let's just power through because we can. Yeah, of course we can. In fact, Hyundai really wants to sell this car a lot. They have roped in Shah Rukh Khan to be in the brochure, to promote the vehicle, and also I think Deepika Padukone, I'm not too sure, but Shah Rukh to मैंने देखा है, not a big fan of Deepika, so maybe I must have ignored her, but they have made sure that they are going all out to promote the Alcazar because it has huge potential. The problem is, it also has huge competition from cars which people really love, like the XUV 700 and the Scorpio N. Yeah, those cars are loved by people. Even the Tata Safari, people love it, even though the Safari is no longer the original Safari which we so love. It has become the monocoque fake SUV, but then a lot of fake SUVs in the market right now. So again, we have come into sport mode and I'm just going to power through because I can, and oh my god, yeah, the suspension actually does a good job here. So let's use the wiper straight away. Okay, the blind view monitor works quite nicely here. Look at that. I love it. It's amazing. Hyundai does some simply, oh my goodness, simply clever features like at lower speeds. Okay, look at this. I will try to slowly hit something or the other. Bhai bata de. Okay, I have to get into reverse to activate it. Now look at that. Parking sensors position is in such a nice place here. It shows me right there, which is so unique. So simply clever features, but then there's some not so simply clever features because only the driver side has a one touch. Yeah, one touch down and one touch up. Other windows should also have one touch up and down. I don't know why they don't have it. And I think people are stuck there. Nobody wants to dirty their car. I have already shot the exterior parts, so I am not really caring much about it. We're just going to go through here, hopefully not get stuck in muck. So guys, this is my video of obviously the Hyundai Alcazar. Fantastic car, but I hope Hyundai offers a sunroof for the diesel because at the end of the day, always remember, a diesel is a diesel is a diesel. Turning radius is not much. The best thing about this car, it's super easy to drive. Yeah, it is super easy to drive, and that is a big USP here. That it is simply effortless to drive. By the way, I went so fast over a bump, this sunglass holder actually opened, which is not such a great thing, and off we go. Ho, ho, ho. So much fun. This car has got level 2 ADAS, like I was telling you, forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, all those features are there, blind spot monitor, blind spot alert, and it has a very unique feature which a lot of other cars don't have, which is known as leading vehicle departure alert. It should be able to sense it. So I can't tell you the acronym, let's not splash water on this anonymous camera person, but yeah, I can't tell you the acronym of leading vehicle departure alert, but again, a very unique feature to have. And on that disappointment of me not being able to tell you what is, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye. Whoopsie doo. Woo. Don't forget to check out the awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses, the Invol Gel Can Citron. You can get yours with a 10% discount using coupon code FASTBEAM. Click on the top right corner of the screen right now. Bye bye.